How's everybody doing this morning? First thing I wanted to start off by saying thank you for getting on here and watching. Your support is always appreciated. This year with us being virtual and having a lot of students quarantined as well, a lot of my juniors and seniors and upperclassmen are not on campus necessarily. So that just means that the younger kids get to step up to the challenge. So just bear with them as they go through this, trying to demonstrate different things and different simulations that we might go over in class. They're going to be doing several different things involving some basic construction little things, showing you some basic safety things that we go over in class, some animal husbandry, and then also some things in the greenhouse as well. So just bear with them and understand as well that they are ninth graders, but I'm extremely proud of the progress they have shown. So I'm gonna turn it over to them, and we just hope you enjoy, and we'll answer any questions you have at the end of every little snippet or session. All right, here we go. All right, whenever y'all are ready, boys and girls.
So the breed of this rabbit is a mini race. We have seven and eighth graders that plan to show them. They are average 4 pounds with I can't say it.
You got it?
Velvet or we'll soft velvet fur.
We learn responsibility having to care for them. Their gestation or pregnancy length is 30 days.
Okay, so what they were discussing and talking about, and they were itching to do this, was we got some 7th and 8th grade students, as well as some of the 9th graders possibly, that are wanting to show some of these rabbits at our local shows. Some of our students don't have a means of being able to show cattle or larger breeds of animals, of livestock, so the rabbits are an easier possibility for that. So that's one of the things they do. They have to go through learning responsibility, like taking care of a pet, but it's, beneficial for some of our students to learn that responsibility, starting off small. They have to know, different things like the breeds of them and the gestation or the pregnancy length and things like that. Our plans are, and I'm actually in the process right now working on trying to write a grant for being able to add a school farm per se. So that way we can have some of those livestock projects and show projects here on campus. So that way students are able to have those opportunities, whether or not they live on a farm or not. Because at the end of the day, we're trying to expose them as to many things as possible to make sure that they have opportunities that are going to help them be successful and know what careers they want to pursue upon graduation. So we're now going to walk down here and let you see some of our gentlemen that are going to be showing you some safety things we work on in the shop, as well as a demonstration on how to use a certain type of saw that we use the most. All right, hold on one second, guys. Okay.
My name is Yvonne Mosley. I'm the This is Chloe Moore. And today we're going to be demonstrating micro and shop safety. First off, you never want to have bracelets, necklace, loose clothing. If you have hoodie strings, make sure you tuck them in. Always have closed-toed shoes, wear a mask, and your safety goggles.
And when you want to go to the hood, first of all, you want to go to the hood. No. You gotta go over here to always plug your blade in. And you want to make sure everyone's back when you go to cut. And then you want to go here to unlock your blade, place it down, and then do it. If the board's short, you can always hold it by yourself. But if the board is really long, you want someone at the end holding it for you. And when you go to cut, make sure your hands right here away from the blade. And then you're going to go down and cut. And then when you're done cutting, make sure the blade stops. Get your boards, and the next person will come in.
Put in your safety code. You push the button, mash the button, lock it in place. And come over here and unplug it. And you take your vacuum. And that is it.
Okay, one of the things, this is a small demonstration of how to use the miter saw. I hope that you can understand them with these masks on. A lot of these gentlemen have these deep voices they're not used to yet, with their voices changing. So they've got to get used to speaking through a mask a little louder. Well, they were going through the basic safety steps that we go through every day, and they have to go through whenever they go through their miter saw performance test before they can ever get checked off for it, as well as those are things that are constantly reminded on a daily basis. Dylan covered, about personal protective equipment like safety glasses, no loose or baggy clothing strings, your hair tied up, put behind you if you've got longer hair, things like that, that kids need to know and understand before they go into the workplace. Because these are things that must be followed, whether it be in the ag shop here at school, hopefully when they're at home working at their houses, as well as when they enter the workforce one day. And then, the emphasis of whenever you get done working on something, making sure what you've got is cleaned up and clean your area. Take pride in what we have, because those that take pride in what we have at school will take pride in what they have at home, as well as taking pride in their workplace that will benefit them when hopefully they start their careers. All right, we're going to take a walk out to the greenhouse now. We've got a couple of demonstrations out there, and then I'll do some explaining as well. 7th through 12th grade get to be in my program. Being a small school, one of the only electives or one of the few electives we have is ag. So we get students from all different areas and different walks of life that come into ag. Some of them have experience, some of them do not. So they all get an opportunity to be a part of the program from 7th grade up. Unless some of them choose to come to the Career Academy in Greenville when they get to their 10th grade year, which is obviously what we're trying to go for anyway, just for the fact that, that's still a career tech program. They're still trying to further their education. So that is perfectly all right. But 7th through 12th grade is what gets to enjoy our program in different areas, in different subject areas. Hold on 1 second. I had to walk back in the room. It dropped it as soon as we walked in the greenhouse. I don't think it's too far away. So we're going to do our demonstration in the classroom. Welcome to CTE. We always got to change with the times, right?
Today we're planting marigold seeds. First thing you would want to do would be moisten and dampen the soil before you plant seeds, because if you do it after, it might mess up the growing process and move the seeds. Next thing would be just check the bag of the packet to see if it needs to be set in a certain depth in the soil or on top of it.
The next thing you would want to do is you would want to make holes in your soil. After you had made the holes, you would grab 2 seeds out of the packet. And the reason we do that is so if one of them doesn't germinate, hopefully the other one will. After we get our 2 seeds, we would put them in our hole and cover it up. And usually we would have a marker for this, for the exact depth, but we don't. So we just are making do with this. After we're done covering up our holes, we would mark this and set it in the corner. And then we would be finished. Of course, it would have the marigold name on the marker.
Okay, so what he was talking about was they always make sure we check, because some seeds need light to germinate, so we put them on the top. Some seeds need dark to be able to germinate. Some have to be planted at a certain depth. And that's one of those things that are vital to provide good germination for our plants. Plants are one of those things that can be propagated or begin to grow from different areas. This was an example of seed germination. And I'm going to let a few other people talk to you about another process we use and demonstrate that. And then we're going to show you some success we've had with that process as well. And then I'll do a little bit of talking about our aquaponics and aquaculture that relates to what we're about to show you. Okay?
Okay, so what you do is you take and you cut that off of the plants that are in the greenhouse, and then you just.
All right, Harper, show them up close what it looks like so they know there's no roots on there. All right, show them the end. Okay, we just cut it off the end. All right, go ahead, Harper.
And then you take these leaves off, and then you have the node, and then you just very gently put it in there. And you can water the dirt before or after you put it in there. And it'll start photosynthesis.
Okay, again, she's taking off these leaves right now. Where the leaf hooks into the plant, that's called the node. Where that node, when it touches the soil, they'll begin to grow roots. You can do this in water. You don't necessarily need soil. We have one that's growing in our aquaponics grow beds, and I plan to show you, if we'd had better service, that would be something we'd be showing right now. But you can actually use rooting hormone. It's like $6 for a little bitty container that can last forever. Because it goes a long way. You can use that to help you kind of get a jump start, but you don't really need that. Because a lot of your soft tissue plants like this right here is coleus, or Solenostemon scutellareoides is the scientific name, but I don't think the kids really care to know that much of a mouthful of wording. But we're going to show you, Trey's going to show you here in a second, an example of a tray we took cuttings from and put in the tray probably about 3 to 4 weeks ago. And they've been placed in some shade to begin with. And then we went and we put them in the sunlight after about 2 weeks of letting them stabilize. And this is what they look like now. Okay, go ahead and show them, Trey. All right, so that's some of the stuff we've got growing there. Those are coleus we took from cuttings out of our aquaponics system, and directly like what you just saw Harper doing, and they look like they've rooted well. Okay, all right, thank you, Trey. So what we've got going on right now, those are some trays that we're going to either put, some of those will be transplanted into hanging baskets or pots. Some of them will actually, stay in the trays and be sold in six-pack sales. But what we've been doing is we've got plants we've got brought in from cuttings that, just like you saw, they actually got shipped in the mail and got sent, and we put those directly in our aquaponics grow beds. And what that is, we've got a tank, 200-gallon stock tanks that are attached to a grow bed that have no soil in them. It is simply got like clay rock, like imitation rocks in there they can anchor the plant in. And then the water from the aquaponics tanks that have the fish in them filter through, and the plants actually survive off the water that has the fish's waste in them. And that's where our parent plants from these coleus come from. They grow in those grow beds, and we take cuttings from those every 2 or 3 weeks. They grow extremely fast in that system. And that is a way to where we can get multiplied plants a lot faster, and it's a lot quicker than starting from seed. Seed normally take anywhere from 8 weeks up to 16 weeks to finish from seed. Whereas those coleus cuttings, within 3 to 4 weeks, then you can tell when they get a good root system, they'll be ready to go. But those are some of the things we get to do in my class, from running a business meeting in class. That's actually what my 7th and 8th graders are doing right now. To learning about plants in the greenhouse through different types of propagations, cuttings, planting from seed. We're actually planning to do some grafting probably next year. They'll be learning how to graft some Japanese maples and things like that. And then construction concepts as well. We just recently had our strawberry sale where we made about $3,500 worth of profit from strawberry sales, and that'll go towards new tools in the shop. Because being high school students, they tend to be a little rough sometimes on some hand tools, but they get used a lot. So we're, trying to replace them. They get to learn about forestry, aquaculture. I teach 2 classes in those areas as well. And, and then we're going to try to incorporate heavily some of the animal science stuff also. So a really broad area and spectrum. I tell everybody when they walk in my room, there's something for everybody. There's always something in my class that can benefit you somehow, some way, shape, or form. If it makes you an educated voter for the future on agricultural things, if it impacts you directly in your job, gives you skills to help you gain a job and keep it, or even simply just giving you the skills you need to pick out food for your family at the grocery store, or to be able to do some small home repairs so you don't have to call a repairman every time a small little thing comes up at your house. Those are vital things and vital skills that are needed. And just simply the soft skills needed that have kind of fallen to the wayside. We always thought they were understood, that they were being taught or of importance, and they kind of fell through the cracks somewhere along the way. So we're trying to make sure that those are being utilized in the classroom across Butler County. That's something that Ms. McLean preaches so heavily, and I'm so fortunate that she does.
It's helped us be a better student by just teaching us things that we can do around the house that maybe we don't want to call somebody for.
Okay, all right. Brady, you want to answer what about ag helps you or you think is beneficial, bud?
gives you a lot of responsibilities.
Last year, we actually had 100% membership. I actually had some students that were in my program, as far as they were in FFA or a member, that actually didn't take me in class. They may have been at Career Academy or something like that and couldn't work it out with their schedule. But I had 100% membership last year in kids that were enrolled in ag class. And I can actually walk over here and show you the banner for it. They give us a banner for it. It's a pretty big feat, but let me turn it. Okay, there's the banner from last year for it. And we had, I think, remember if I'm correct, we had, I think, 147 members last year in our program. And we're in a school last year, we graduated, I think, 25 students. So 147, that's from 7th through 12th grade, that's everybody, pretty much. So, like I said, there's something for everybody. Some join for the competition, some join because sometimes we eat at meetings, some join because they want, they enjoy different aspects of competitions or learning about different things within the class. I'm a big incentive guy. That's why we always fundraise so well and do a lot. On a normal school year, we do a lot of educational field trips and things like that, trying to, expose students to as much as possible. I actually had planned to tour students, take them to Coastal last year before we got out for the pandemic. And as soon as this mess is over, hopefully we can try to work with that again. I actually went and toured myself just because I felt like it would help me be better as an instructor and things like that. And that's the continued plan for me to keep growing so that way I can keep helping them grow as well. We actually, at the beginning of the school year, after looking at data, because the data is in the world of education today is so important. It gives you inside resources that we didn't have some time ago. But we looked at the data, and a lot of our jobs within the industry locally are in the forestry industry. And Ms. McLean and myself, along with other administrators in the system, decided it would be best to move more towards a forestry-based pathway. Now, my plan is most of our credentials and the way we work, we've been able to help students get jobs industry-wise. Those trainings for us teachers happen in the summertime. And while I am certified to teach forestry, while I took classes in forestry in college, those are areas that I've got to go to some trainings this summer that will allow me to then to be able to have the credentials to be able to give, students the opportunity to take tests and things like that recognize them with credentials that are industry recognized as well. So that is the plan. There's been some changing actually in our curriculum within just in the pathway stuff in November. So we've actually been looking at what might be the best option now that they've changed it. And that's one of those things as education changes, as career tech changes and adapts, we're looking to do those same things with our programs to try to provide opportunities for our students. There's actually a new pathway they've just come out with in November that's got forestry in it that still is allowing us to provide credentials for forestry for our local industry as well as several other areas. But that means more training on myself, but that also means that I have more students that we're not going to be just one faceted. We're going to be one of those programs that gives students opportunities in forestry as well as maybe some landscape type things and other areas also to help make sure that they have opportunities to get credentials because not every student is going to college. A good portion of them are going, to get a job, enter the workforce, learn a trade. So when you say how do I choose my students, I'm just going to be completely honest with you. I teach all the 7th grade. I get the boys for a semester, the girls for a semester. 8th grade is the same way. 9th grade, I tend to have them all at one time. 10th grade, I'm going to have all the ones that are on campus that aren't going to Career Academy. And then junior level and senior level, I get them if they don't go to Career Academy in the morning, obviously, because I have a junior and senior level class first thing in the morning. And then I'm also the junior and senior level standard science teacher. There is a couple of classes that are ag certified teachers can teach that are also given a science credit. That's where my aquaculture class comes into play this year. And we have it currently on a rotation where I teach aquaculture science one year, and the next year I teach environmental management. So I guess what to answer your question, there is really no, I don't get to select students. It's not like on like a large campus to where you have certain students that maybe get a selection and you get to kind of recommend, hey, I'd like for these students, they've taken me before, they've got, construction 1 and 2, I'd like for them to come take construction 3. It doesn't really work that way for the small campus setting, which I think is good because I have a lot of students that probably never would have taken me if they had a bigger campus. But once they get in here, a lot of them realize, hey, this is enjoyable. I've learned something. I've gained something from it. So from that aspect, I think it is a good thing. So they're all exposed to it in some shape or form.